Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is up? This is Monday Power Hour, Week 10 edition here on this Monday, November the 4th, 2024, as we react to everything that took place over the weekend. We are live for the next hour, taking your questions, your comments, and, of course, your calls at 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. I see some familiar names already in the chat. Tim Skelton says, hotty toddy, big week for Ole Miss football indeed. Our preview of that game actually just dropped on YouTube. Going to come out via podcast later today. Ole Miss and the Georgia Bulldogs. And as you guys know by now, that is where the SEC Unfiltered tour will take us this weekend. My first ever experience on the Grove at Vaught Hemingway Stadium and in Oxford as a whole, man. Cannot freaking wait. So, Tim, good to see you. Terminator 98, how about the Gamecocks? I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Gamecock chatter today in the comments. Good to see you, Terminator Madison Duncan, as well. How about the Gamecocks again? Xavier Myers, what's going on? Appreciate you. SEC Football Tube, what's up, man? Appreciate you taking the time, jumping in here. Again, lots to get into, lots to discuss. What a week 10 it was. Also, by the way, guys, I know we're all in football mode, obviously, but how about this today? The 2024-2025 SEC basketball season tips off and officially gets underway. Listen, really excited for it. Again, I know we're in football mode. That's totally fine. It's understandable, but we get our first look at some of these different basketball squads, some notable games. You got A&M at UCF, Florida taking on South Florida. I believe that game is being played in Jacksonville, Mizzou at Memphis. We get a first look at Alabama, who's the favorite or one of the favorites to win the national title. Of course, everybody's in action tonight. And the big one, which tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, if you want to stay up late and watch some SEC hoops, Texas takes on Ohio State. That game is in Las Vegas, so that should be a good one. Either way, guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. Jam-packed Monday here, as it is always, guys, start to finish. We are rocking. We are rolling till 1:30 p.m. Eastern time today. Content bleeding out of the eyeballs again, like it does each and every single Monday. Justin says, long live TDC. If you know, you know. Also, congrats on SECU. What's your thoughts on Lane to Florida? Let's go, Cox. Yeah, Justin, I'll tell you this. So, again, we sit here on the Monday of Ole Miss Georgia week. And if you go listen to that preview, again, about 30 minutes or long or so, my good friend Dave Shoemate and I went into detail on that game, obviously locked in our predictions, all that good stuff. You're going to hear us talk about exactly what you mentioned. I mean, the Ole Miss's season comes down to this football game. Like, when you think about what Walker Jones and the Grove Collective and all those affiliated with Ole Miss football did over the last, 8-9 months or so since the end of the 2023 season, when you think about what they've done, their collective efforts to invest in this program, get the top-tier talent that Lane Kiffin needed, and I know obviously there's been a lot of ups and downs, right? The Kentucky loss, it feels more and more inexcusable by the week. You think about the game against LSU. I don't think that's an inexcusable loss. You lost to a good football team at their place at night. But this game against Georgia, this was always the game in my mind that was going to define Ole Miss's 2024 season. Because the question was always been, guys, get into the playoffs, sure, like that stuff matters. But it was always, did you make up enough ground via the portal to go toe-to-toe with Georgia and even beat them? And we're going to find out. We're going to get that answer, right? Like, we're going to get that answer. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. Here come the Bulldogs to Oxford, Mississippi. I'm really curious, guys, what the national perception of this game is going to be, and I guess which way people are siding in this game. Because I think you're going to hear it a lot this week, right? Ole Miss, it feels like at times they're incapable of winning the big game. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, they're the bridesmaid, never the bride. This is as good an opportunity as any, right? And you see Ole Miss last week go out there to Arkansas and just lay the hammer on the Hogs. Positive momentum, the way they were able to build momentum offensively, over 500 yards passing for Jackson Dart. And then you look at Georgia, guys. Again, we were at that game in Jacksonville, man. And yeah, Georgia got the dub, and that game was much closer than the spread indicated. I mean, guys, I've said before, and I'll say it again. If DJ Lagway doesn't go down with an injury, Florida wins that football game. There's just no doubt in my mind. They win that football game. Again, if, ands, or buts, close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades. So what does it really matter? But I will say momentum is a very, very real thing in college football. We've seen it this year. It's a very real thing. So I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Go watch the preview. You want to know my prediction. Guys, phone lines are now open, 803-500-1485. Would love to hear from you. 803-500-1485. Let's see. SEC Football 2. Glad you're doing these lives again. Brings back great memories. Indeed, man. It's always fun. Again, we're only going once a week on Mondays, our Monday Power Hours. Is it going to continue to be a thing after the football season? We'll see. We'll see. There will be some live stuff for sure as we get into like bowl season and stuff like that. And, we're going to be doing some of the live stuff, but we'll see. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that tomorrow night, we will be live reacting to the first college football playoff rankings. More on that in a little bit. Here we go.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's going on? You're on the air.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Throat's still a little sore, but I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm above ground. So.
Were you at the game Saturday night in Columbia?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Unless I'm puking my insides out or I'm in the hospital, I'm gonna be in Soda City watching the Gamecocks kick some ass.
Well, I figured that's probably why your throat's sore. You were probably screaming all night at the game, so that's
Oh, dude!
stuff,
dude! I ain't gonna lie. I got scared for a minute because I thought for sure I thought I was gonna spit up a little bit of blood because I was like screaming like really loud. But thankfully, I did not spit up no blood. But I think it is safe to say, okay, that yes, our record against A&M is not great. Okay. We're like what? 2-9 against the Aggies since they joined the conference. Okay. But let me just throw this stat out to you. Okay. With me present at the game, we are 2-0 against the Aggies. We cut that ass on Saturday night.
That was an ass whooping, man. That was, it got kind of tight there for a moment. A&M punched back, but I mean that second half, man, was. And I'll be honest with you, Robbie, I wasn't surprised that South Carolina won the football game. Was not surprised at all. I was surprised at how it happened. I did not see South Carolina dominating in the trenches and the way they were able to run the football. I did not see that coming. But listen, give a lot of credit, man. That was you come out of the bye week, you're physically imposing, and I think A&M's still a good football team. That one, it was interesting, man. That one you could see that coming from a mile away. There are probably more of us that should have seen that coming, but that game was circled all offseason for a reason, and we saw why.
Somebody mentioned whenever I was in the stand, somebody mentioned that they always go to like wherever they're traveling to, they go somewhere and do the Aggie yell.
Yeah, they do the midnight yell, yes.
Yeah, they did it. They did it at the State House, and when I found out that they did it at the State House, I said they're fixing to find out karma is a you-know-what, because that second half, we put belts to asses, and we did not care.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was – it felt personal for South Carolina for sure. I mean, it's, again, man, I wasn't shocked what I saw. We've seen the Gamecocks before, just those type of games.
Yeah.
Those type of games put it all together and have one of their best outings. And
real quick,
yeah,
my prediction for both the basketball games for Carolina tonight, okay, I got us winning both of them, okay. I'm so confident in the girls kicking ass, I'm not even going to give you a prediction, but I'm probably going to do it anyway. So the girls are going to win by a lot. I say 95-60 for the girls game. For the guys game, 75-62.
Okay. Yeah, I think both will win, should win for sure tonight. So But it's good to have
that's all
basketball
I
back.
got. Oh, yeah. That's all I got. You have a great rest of your day, and go Gamecocks, and I will talk to you on Monday, and I will have my prediction for Saturday ready for you on Thursday.
Robbie, you're the man. I appreciate it as always, my friend.
You too, my friend.
All right, brother.
Stay safe, and as always, leave the dumb stuff to me.
Will do, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Robbie Davis, legendary caller, man. Legendary caller. Wouldn't be a call-in show without Robbie Davis, as our buddy Cody echoes in the chat. Cody Larmer, is it a call-in show if Robbie Davis doesn't call in? Legendary caller. Like Al Davis said, just win, baby. Go Vols. Yeah, I mean, listen, Tennessee kind of trudging along. I thought Nico played pretty well. It's shocking to me the struggles the receivers have had this season. And Dylan Sampson continues to be, I don't know how you can even call him underrated at this point. If you're underrating Dylan Sampson, you're really just not paying attention. Listen, he closes the season strong. Why wouldn't you mention Dylan Sampson getting some Heisman love? Is he going to win the Heisman? Probably not, right? Realistically. I think from the SEC, though, he's probably the guy with the best shot. I think he's probably got the best shot to win it. So, let's see. Daniel, Carson Beck is starting to turn to Peyton Thorne. I'm glad you bring this up, Daniel, because, listen, this time last week, I was really hard, or not even really hard, just being honest and, just genuine about it, just being authentic about it. But I gave criticism to Garrett Nussmeier for his play against Texas A&M and some of the mind-numbing mistakes that he makes. We got to start having an honest conversation about Carson Beck, man. Like, we got to start having an honest conversation about Carson Beck. He's just not very good. Like, right now at this moment, and I've had 2 opportunities to watch Carson Beck in person this year. And I've been fortunate enough where I was sitting, I had a couple of POVs down his line of sight, if you will. I was looking down his line of sight on a couple of those. Listen, I ain't no SEC quarterback. I didn't play quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. I didn't play football in college. But you look at some of these throws that Carson Beck is making. Guys, it's one thing to try to fit a ball in a tight window and throw a competitive interception, right? DB makes a great play. It is what it is. You tip your cap. That's not what's happening here. Like, I don't know if Carson Beck just trusts his arm too much or what. I don't know what's going on with the decision-making. Because a lot of these interceptions, guys, they're just horrific decisions. They're terrible decisions. So we got to start having a real honest conversation. Carson Beck has become a liability for Georgia. They are not winning games because of him. They are winning games in spite of him. And as we saw with Garrett Nussmeier and LSU, because he's had his own problems, it is going to catch up to you at some point. It caught up to you in Tuscaloosa, right? It didn't catch up to you in Austin. It didn't catch up to you in the cocktail party. But like this weekend against Ole Miss, guys, if Carson Beck goes back out there and throws 2-3 interceptions, Georgia's going to lose the football game. So how many times can you overcome Carson Beck and his poor decision-making? Because, again, he's become a liability for that Georgia offense. Guys, let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Hunter.
Hunter, what's going on, man? You're on the air.
What's going on? Sorry about that little call. I had something in my throat. That's why it sounded like that. But I got a couple questions for you. One about the rankings, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the AP poll. Vanderbilt being ranked over us because, I mean, yeah, I get that it came close with Texas and they beat Auburn, but, we were on the road, beat OU, and then beat the shit out of Texas A&M. And one other question, and I want to see what your thoughts on if we might make it to the playoffs, if we can win out the rest of the schedule. I just want to get your thoughts on those.
Yeah, so I'll start with the second question. If South Carolina wins out, will they make it to the playoff? The only problem you're going to run into is there's probably going to be a lot of other teams that are on the bubble that have head-to-head wins over South Carolina. Ole Miss,
right.
LSU, Alabama. So that's, I think, where you could run into trouble. I mean, again, all you can do if you're South Carolina is win all the games you have left and let the chips fall where they may. But again, head-to-head, and what does the committee value? We're going to find out tomorrow night. The first ranking show of this fall, this season, whatever.
Yeah, see, I never got that. Why did they release the rankings on Sunday, and why don't they just wait till Tuesday? Why I just never get that.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. That's when the AP votes, but the AP poll, I'll tell you this: if you want to make the argument to me that South Carolina should be ranked, absolutely, I'll listen to it. I don't doubt it. Vanderbilt should be ranked, 100%. You beat the number one. Vanderbilt beat the number one team in the country in Alabama at the time. They were the number one team in the country. Like, they took Texas down to the wire. Like that to me deserves a lot of credit. So I wouldn't bump Vandy out of the top 25 to put South Carolina in, but I wouldn't mind having them both in. I mean, Vandy, to me, again, 100% deserves to be ranked with their resume.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate all the answer. I know it's been a while since we talked on the phone, since we talked on the Spurs Up show, so I don't know if you remember me or not.
Yeah, no, Hunter, I appreciate it, man. It's always good to hear from you.
Yeah, no, sure. No problem. Right. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Good stuff, Hunter. Yeah. Hunter, a proud Gamecock fan. Used to call in a lot. Let's see. We'll get to your questions, your comments. Chinook, my guys over at Chinook. How big truly is this game in Baton Rouge this weekend? Crazy to both have 2 losses for this game, yet it's still as big as ever. Chinook, I would argue this. Would you want Bama, LSU, Bama? Would you want this game to be any other way? Right? I mean, this is a winner-take-all. There is no denying it. The winner still has playoff hopes within reach. The loser is out. This is a playoff eliminator in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I'll tell you this, Chinook. I'll tell you this. I am fired up to get to Oxford. I am so excited to go to this Ole Miss Georgia game. This is the first time, I would say, all season, I wish there were 2 of me. I wish there were 2 of me, because I would kill to experience that atmosphere in Death Valley. Like, the Ole Miss atmosphere at LSU was incredible. This is probably going to be that on steroids. So, LSU, whether, rain or shine, there might be a monsoon. It might be it might be a wet one Saturday night in Baton Rouge. They're going to show up. They're going to show out. It's going to be as raucous and as hostile as any environment in college football this season. I lean LSU. Again, we'll talk more about that game this week, but I lean LSU. I do. I like the Tigers. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I mentioned it earlier in the season, guys, and I'll say it yet again. Don't overthink this. Death Valley at night. I know Bama's had success there. My God, they'll come to the dimensions and let you know in a heartbeat. But I like LSU in this game. I'll take it a step further. I don't think this Alabama team under Kalen DeBoer, I don't think they're man enough to line up and beat LSU in Death Valley at night. I really don't. I just don't see it. I don't like what I've seen from Bama to this point. I just don't believe they've got – I don't think they've got what it takes to go in and win a game like this. I really don't. From what I've seen from them on the field, lack of discipline, it's a shell of what Nick Saban built there at Alabama. I'm not giving Kalen DeBoer the benefit of the doubt and this Alabama football team the benefit of the doubt that they can go into Death Valley at night and win a game like this. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it until they prove it. So I got the LSU Tigers, man. Again, this game's in Bryant-Denny, probably a different story, but it's not. It's in Baton Rouge at night. I feel confident in the pick, man. I like LSU, and I like LSU. I won't say big, but I like LSU to win. We'll leave it at that. So, Adam, what's going on? If they fire Billy Napier, do you think Florida should try to hire Clark Lee instead of Lane Kiffin? Second, do you think Lee would leave his alma mater to take the job he was offered? Adam, I'll say this. Listen, Clark Lee and Vandy, they're having a great year. It's an awesome story. Even with what he's done, I don't think Clark Lee would be a hiring that would inspire a whole lot of confidence and excitement in the locals there in Gainesville, right? Like, I think, Adam, listen, they want a no doubt surefire thing. They don't want a roll of the dice. They don't want to take a risk. They want a surefire thing. I don't think Clark Lee is a guy that you would look at and be like I would ask Adam, listen, because I've gotten the question. Like, you watch Florida in person, You watch like this, Billy's got this locker room. This team fights for him. They play hard. You can see it in person. Like they've got talent. And now injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. We'll see what the status of DJ Lagway is. Can he go this weekend against Texas? But here's the bottom line when it comes to a place like Florida. And I think this is where the conversation stops. This is Florida football. This is the Florida Gators. Like, let's remind ourselves who this program is and what it is, and honestly, what it should be. I ask myself this question when it comes to Billy Napier. Forget all the other stuff. When you think about Billy Napier leading the Florida football program, do you believe in your heart of hearts, do you believe Billy Napier is the man in charge to take Florida to a national championship? I won't even say win the national title, but to get them to a national championship. If the answer is anything other than a resounding yes, it's time to move on. He's not the guy. That's the expectation and the standard at Florida. It's not to win 7 or 8 games a year. It's not to make the playoff once every 4 or 5 years. It's to win national titles. Guys, this is Florida football. With all due respect, does anybody out there believe, do they say, you know what? It's been a rough couple years, but Billy Napier's got the makings of a guy that can get this program, let's just even say, to the SEC championship. Is there anybody out there who'd be willing to make that claim and stand behind it? No. So if the answer is anything other than a resounding yes, when you ask yourself those questions at a place like Florida, it's time to move on. You know he's not the guy. All you're doing is kicking the can down the road. That's all you are doing. That's all you're doing. Let's make it very abundantly clear. And I don't dislike Billy Napier. Like, I like Billy Napier, but again, it's a zero-sum game. It's a business of wins and losses. And in a place like Florida, bro, that's even more emphasized. Because it's not just about, well, let's make a bowl game. Guys, he hasn't even had a winning season. We're not even talking about, like, man, he's knocking on the door close. Hasn't had a winning season. You've got the answers to the test. You have the answer. If you don't want to believe it, you don't want to, that's on you. But the answer is very clear. At a place like Florida, there's no gray area. Do we believe you're the guy to get this program to an SEC championship and a national title? If the answer is anything other than a resounding yes, you know you don't have the right guy in place. And if you bring him back next year, fine, but you're just kicking the can down the road. You're delaying the inevitable. You're doing later what should be done now. So that's it. Billy Napier be a great fit somewhere that doesn't have expectations like that. But this is Florida. They do have expectations like that, and they shouldn't apologize for it, in my opinion. So, again, you watch Florida in that game against Georgia, man, it's like you can see it. Like, they've got talent. They really do. Florida's got some ball players. Like, some of these young guys, man, they got some studs. And I'll give Billy Napier credit because that team's fighting their ass off for him. They believe in him. I'll give him a ton of credit for that. But you're just not getting it done on the field, man. You're just not getting it done on the field. Bottom line. Clayton Goff, I'm South Carolina fan. Listen to 107.5 The Game, which is South Carolina radio, but I'm looking for a full SEC radio or podcast on Apple Music or Spotify to listen to while I'm driving. Clayton, you've come to the right place, my friend. We are literally on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything in between. Anywhere you can get a podcast, you can find SEC Unfiltered. Check us out. Again, all your favorite content from YouTube, all over the place, everywhere else. Like something like this. It's also distributed via podcast. So go check us out. Anyways, guys, 803-500-1485. You can also text that number if you like. That's 803-500-1485. Tyrese says, should Ole Miss be aggressive and go for it on fourth and manageable, fourth downs against Georgia's defense? Well, I mean, I think Tyrese, that question, like everything, it's all dependent on situation, right? Like, I mean, I don't think you can just blanket say, hey, we got to go for it on every fourth down. You're on your own side of the field and it's early in the game. Don't go for it, right? Like, I mean, you got to pick and choose your spots. But Tyrese, I'll take what you said and position it this way. Should Ole Miss be aggressive? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What do you mean? This is your season. Your season's on the line. You beat Georgia, Tyrese, you know as well as I do. You beat Georgia, ain't nobody going to remember that Kentucky game. That LSU game becomes a distant memory if you can take down Georgia. And guys, if you lose to Georgia, let's call it for what it is. Your season's over anyways. Any hopes of achieving what you set out to achieve this year, it's over. It's over. Your season comes down to this game. Bottom line. Your season comes down to this game. So play aggressive. Play with hair on fire. What do you have to lose? Right? What do you have to lose? Guys, 803-500-1485. Let's see. Terminator 98. Does Mississippi State get another win this season? That's a really good question. Do they have another non-conference game? I don't think they do. Do they have another non-conference game? That's what I'd need to know. If it, I think, let me see. They've got Tennessee. They've got Ole Miss. Who else do they have besides that? They might have another non-conference game. And if they do, they probably win it. Then again, they just played UMass. So do they really? Let's see. They've played UMass. They've played Toledo because they lost. They played whoever the heck they played in their season opener. I think they might actually have one more. Let's see. I can look at their schedule real quick. Let's see. Whoops. Mississippi State. Never mind. Excuse me. They've got at Tennessee, Missouri at home, at Ole Miss. I mean, could the Mizzou game be a win? I mean, you got a bye week to get ready if that means anything. They could beat Mizzou. Listen, depending on Brady Cook's status, they could very well beat Missouri. No question in my mind. They could beat Mizzou. Hard for me. I got to know what Brady Cook's status is, though. I can't go out there on a limb and say, yeah, they're going to win that game when I don't know what Brady Cook's status is. Again, we'll talk about that one next week. But, yeah, I got to know what his status is. Let's see. Again, guys, 803-500-1485. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Thank y'all so much, again, for the continued love and support, man. Jacksonville was absolutely incredible, by the way. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'll be totally transparent. I was a little skeptical, I guess you could say, which I'll get there in a second. We'll talk about the Jacksonville weekend more in a second. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Darius.
to accept.
Darius, what's going on? You're on the air.
Not too much. Thanks so much for taking my call. Appreciate it. Loving the show so far today. Wanted to get your take on the tremendous performance from Gald last night. Goal, 2 helpers, created 2 own goals, forcing that to game 3 against LAFC, the number 1 overall in the West. Do you think Vancouver has a chance to move on and make something happen here?
I'm going to say yes, but I'm got to be honest with you. I know nothing about soccer. So, but I'm going to say yes. Sure. Whoever you're pulling for, I hope they win. I have no idea, though. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm
pulling for the Whitecaps, Vancouver Whitecaps FC,
Okay.
Ryan Gald, the Gald father. Let's get it out there.
Okay. Fair enough. Go Vancouver then. I'm on your side.
Who are you cheering for?
I'll go Vancouver, man. I mean, listen, I don't have a dog in the fight.
No, I mean, who are you cheering for in the SEC? Who's your team?
Yeah, so I'm a South Carolina guy.
South Carolina Gamecocks?
Yeah, Gamecocks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? How about this? You support my guys over there. I'm gonna support your guys. I'm gonna go Gamecocks all day long. I'm gonna up the Gamecocks out here in Vancouver, British Columbia. We can do sort of a sister city type thing. So where are they at right now?
South Carolina is what? They just got to 6-3, I think, something like that. So yeah, just came off that win against A&M. So they're in a good spot. No, they're not in the playoff though. I mean, maybe if they win out, I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, they're having a good year. I mean, I don't think any.
Hopefully some building blocks and things to build off of, for the future. Hopefully got some good blue chips or whatever. But yeah, 6-3, not bad. Unfortunately, in the college football game, that ain't doing so much. Same sort of winning percentage for the Whitecaps this year. Got them into the playoffs, no problem. They had to sneak in past Portland in the 9-8 game, but they absolutely spanked them 5-0. And I got something for you. All sports fans will appreciate this. Can you imagine this? Vancouver is supposed to host their first playoff game. Their stadium was double booked for a this motocross event. They had to give up the home field advantage.
No good. No bueno.
Can you imagine that? You imagine if the G-Cox had to give up home field advantage against the damn Texas A&M in a damn bowl game? It wouldn't work in a bowl game because that's played in a... Anyway, thanks so much for taking my call. You have a good day, sir.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Go Vancouver. Appreciate you.
Yeah, go Gamecocks.
Appreciate it, man. One of the more interesting calls we've ever had. That was that was quite something. By the way, 5-3, not 6-3. I misspoke there. South Carolina trying to go into the month of November, getting their 6th win. They are 5-3. So my apologies. I messed up the record there. Yeah, how about that? Go Vancouver. Guys, 803-500-1485. Would love to hear from you. 803-500-1485. Benny Page asking the question, does South Carolina make a playoff? They went out. I'm going to say no. I don't think anybody wants to hear that, but the truth is I don't think so. No, listen, you've lost. I mean, even if you went 9-3, I just don't think a 9-3 team makes it. Like it's not even just period point blank. You go 9-3, you're not getting in the playoff. And you've also lost head-to-head to so many other, like a few other teams that are right there in the thick of it. LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, like they're all fighting for a playoff spot too. So, only so many can get in. I just don't see a 9-3 SEC team getting in. I just don't see a 9-3 team getting in. So, anyways, I didn't know what direction that call was going. Honestly, I'm like, dude, I don't know soccer at all. I don't know soccer in the slightest. Not a soccer guy. I got to admit to you, not a soccer guy. But you know what? Hopefully Vancouver gets the job done. So, again, guys, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Guys, let me get to this. Jacksonville, Florida, man. Had a blast. And I got to admit, I was a little skeptical going in regards to, we have seen some great on-campus environments. We've experienced some great games and some incredible stadiums. So I was excited to go to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, but I was like, neutral site game. I was curious what the vibe was going to be like. Guys, it was awesome. It was as intense as any on-campus game I've been to this season. I mean, when you put Florida and Georgia fans together and just the intensity of that rivalry, and you could feel the hatred in the building. I mean, those two sides loathe each other, right? The tailgating was as incredible as any SEC venue I've been to. If you're a college football fan, which assuming you're tuned into this, you are, but you're a fan of the sport, man, you're a fan of SEC football, you're a fan of college football, I don't care who your team is, you need to put the world's largest outdoor cocktail party on your bucket list, because it is, the city of Jacksonville was great. The tailgating was incredible. The Jaguar Stadium, really nice venue, and the game turned out to be a really good one as well. So people were awesome, Gators and Dogs alike. But again, the intensity of the building, the intensity around the city of Jacksonville, did a great job hosting that event. Now, post-game traffic could have been a little bit better. Getting a post-game Uber was like pulling teeth. But either way, was a great game, man. Had a blast. And I'll tell you this, guys, on a side note, by the way. It got me really excited, to be honest with you, to go to Red River next year. The Red River shootout between Texas and Oklahoma. Because I've been someone, guys, I've been like, come on. Is a neutral site game really better than an on-campus game? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, but that kind of showed me and opened my eyes to like what even a neutral site game can be. And I know it's next level with Red River shootout because you're at the Cotton Bowl, which is such a historic venue. And that venue essentially is only used for that game. for Texas and OU, and you got the state fair aspect of it too in the city of Dallas. So I gotta say, man, the cocktail party made me that much more fired up even to go to the Red River Shootout next year. Cannot wait to get there. And yeah, Jacksonville was great, man. Thanks so much to all the great people in the city of Jacksonville. The vlog, we got some electric content. Of course, that'll drop Wednesday. It just had a blast, man. Had a blast. I mean, again, as a fan of college football, you have to put the world's largest outdoor cocktail party on your bucket list. You have to. You have to make it a point to go. I don't care if neither side is your favorite team. If you can put your fandom aside and your biases, which so many people struggle to do, if you just love the game and you love the sport for what it is, you got to make it out to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I can't say enough good things about it, man. It was so much fun. So much fun. Appreciate the hospitality again from both Gators and Dogs alike. And shout out to all the folks from Lot J. If you know, you know. I'm proud to say that I survived Lot J. What a time that was. My goodness, that was a time. Anyways, guys, 803-500-1485. Guys, taking your questions, your comments, everything in between. Everything in between. Would love to hear from you. Again, a really exciting Monday as we react to everything that took place in Week 10. We've also dropped our power rankings for Week 11. We'll have a video on that, breaking all that down later today. Also, the first day of basketball season. Basketball season is officially back. It's kind of crazy. It sneaks up on us, right? Because everybody's, locked in football mode, and you totally understand that, obviously. But all of a sudden, it's like, boom, here's the basketball season. By the way, if you have not done so, and you feel like, guys, you're kind of behind, you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize basketball was getting underway today. We actually dropped a great season preview for the basketball season. It was middle of last week or so. Dropped our season preview, guys. Be sure you check that out. Any questions or anything you might have on the season, guys, again, we broke it all down, myself and Dave Shoemate. And also, in case you missed this, we announced it on that show, again, that segment, over on YouTube, podcast, etc. But we announced it, guys, and I actually announced it on social media too, but really proud to announce my guy Dave Shoemate is officially going to be our lead basketball analyst for the 2024-2025 season. So, guys, you're going to be hearing a lot from our friend Dave Shoemate when it comes to college basketball, SEC basketball, and of course, yours truly going to chime in and get after it and give my opinions and things of that nature. But Dave Shoemate going to be our lead SEC basketball analyst, man. Really excited. Dave is as passionate as anybody I've ever met when it comes to SEC basketball, knows the game in and out, knows each of these teams in and out. And I know he's going to do a really, really good job when it comes to our basketball content, basketball coverage. And it's really exciting too, because, guys, you might recall we launched SEC Unfiltered December the 27th of 2023. So that was, we were already a month and a half or so into the season. Now going into this college basketball season, the content, guys, is going to be even more, especially as we get later into the season or further into the season, get into conference play. You're going to be seeing a lot from us when it comes to SEC basketball. So, Joseph Moore, looking back, how big was that win for Ole Miss against South Carolina? Seems like that win looks better every week. Joseph, you're not wrong. We were actually having this conversation today, talking about this Georgia game, why it's so important. I mean, you think about it, Joseph, even if Ole Miss, let's say they need, here's the thing, they need this win against Georgia because at 9-3, they're not getting in. But to your point, that South Carolina win does look really good. And the way they won that game too, in dominating fashion, that win does look really, really good week after week after week. So, yeah, give credit to Ole Miss. I mean, listen, is Ole Miss a lot better than people are giving credit for? Because it kind of feels like, after the Kentucky and then definitely the LSU games, and Ole Miss had their second loss, it's like we kind of forgot about Ole Miss a little bit. Like we kind of just like put them away and we're like, okay, they've got 2 losses, whatever. We've got other games and teams to focus on. Like we haven't put as much attention on Ole Miss. Guys, I mean, you really think about it. Listen, the Kentucky loss is inexcusable. It was. And week by week, it proves to be more and more and more inexcusable. But I mean, they led most of that game, blew it late. Then you go to the LSU game, and I mean, they led the entire game. They led till they didn't. So it's like this Ole Miss team they've trailed for, I think, 2 entire minutes this season. And that was the Kentucky game. They've trailed for 2 minutes, guys, throughout this entire year. So it's like, I think this team might be a little bit better than even we're giving credit for. Right? So, but they're going to have their opportunity this weekend, man. They've got their opportunity this weekend. I mean, if you're an Ole Miss fan, listen, man. If you're an Ole Miss, I mean, this is it. Like, this is your opportunity. This is your chance. Guys, breaking news coming from On3 Sports. Let's see. Billy Napier has reported positive information on Florida quarterback DJ Lagway and his injury. Quote, "We do think that the injury is less significant and there's a path to a recovery and return. We have not completely ruled him out." So, a positive injury report when it comes to DJ Lagway. Of course, guys, they've got Texas this weekend in Austin. And then you think about what they've got down the stretch, obviously, guys. You know, I mean, you think about what they've got down the stretch. Florida's got the games against LSU, against Ole Miss, and then Florida State. So you're going to need DJ Lagway. I mean, listen, even if he plays against Texas, will it matter? I mean, I think Texas should win. I do. I think Texas should get that dub, but certainly would help. Certainly would help to have your QB1. And he looked really good, man. You watch DJ Lagway, you know, you can see it, man. You can see it. You can absolutely see it. So. Let's see. Here's an interesting stat. Georgia quarterbacks Carson Beck's 2 highest single-game Pro Football Focus passing grades. Earlier this season against Mississippi State, he was at a 91.5. And then week 11 last season against Ole Miss, he was at a 91. So maybe he can duplicate it. I just don't know how you can trust Carson Beck at this point. I don't. I really don't know how you can do it. The guy's a turnover machine. He's shown you who he is. All of a sudden, he's just going to flip the switch. The tough thing is this, though. Does the vibe of this week kind of not have the same vibe that it had when Georgia was going to Texas? You know, Georgia wasn't playing their best football, right? They were coming off that game against Mississippi State. They won by, 10 points or so, and it was sloppy. It wasn't exactly inspiring that, hey, they're going to go into the number 1 team in the country. They're going to go beat them on the road. It wasn't all that inspiring, and everybody was going Texas, and then it's like, oh, yeah, it's Georgia. And Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart this week is going to be preaching all week, even if it's true or not. We're backed up into a corner. Everybody's doubting us. Nobody thinks we're good enough to go beat Ole Miss. He's going to be telling his team that. Kirby Smart is the best in the country when it comes to getting his team ready to play. Guy's a master motivator. He's going to have this squad ready to go and believing, hey, it's us against the world. Everybody thinks Ole Miss, they're going to get their signature win. This is the one they've had circled. This is why they went out there and the Grove Collective went out there and added all this talent. Everybody's doubting you. What are you going to do about it? That's what Kirby Smart's going to be preaching all week. And so it's doubt Georgia at your own risk. Doubt Georgia at your own risk when it comes to this game, because we've seen Georgia in this spot before. And guys, it's been a long time since they've lost a regular season game to anybody not named Alabama. They don't lose games to teams not named Alabama, period, a whole lot. It just doesn't happen. So again, doubt Kirby Smart at your own risk. Doubt Kirby Smart at your own risk. Ghost. What's up, Ghost? Can we stop talking about that one? Good point. Ghost, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little bit here, but I'm very, very excited, Ghost, to see you and all of my Texas friends in a few weeks, man. Really pumped. Looking forward to it. Obviously, we've got Oxford upcoming this week. I mean, guys, if you look at the schedule and you think about where we haven't been, just based off process of elimination, I think a lot of y'all could probably guess where we're going the rest of the SEC Unfiltered Tour. I think y'all got a pretty good idea of where we're going. And on that note, guys, again, I want to say this, and I'll talk about it a lot more when the tour concludes. But, you know, it's hard to put it into words, but I cannot say thank you enough. I'm going to use I'm going to pull my best Kirby Smart here in regards to, you know, we have much more love and support than we have anything else. But there are people out there that over the years, I mean, since I've started, they've doubted us, they've hated on us, they've done their best to shit on us and deter us from reaching our goals and even trying and you know, aspiring for more and for bigger and for better. And there's people that have just doubted us at every turn. And I always say I'm grateful for everyone. I'm grateful for those that show love and support. I'm grateful for those that cast hate, because everybody plays a vital role and has played a vital role in our success. So, you know, I remember when I said this back in December of last year, hey, we've got big plans. We're going to go on an SEC Unfiltered tour. We're going to go to a different game every season. This is something I've dreamed of for years and want to do. There was pushback on that. There was doubt. There was hatred thrown our way. You're not going to do it. You know, nobody's going to want to sponsor this. Nobody's going to want to partner. You're just not going to be able to do it, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. There were people out there who doubted us, who did not want to see us have success, who did not want to see us thrive. They didn't want to see us go to these games. And so, again, we'll reflect a lot more when the tour finally concludes and the dust settles after the final week of the regular season. But I cannot say thank you enough to all those week after week that have shown us love, that have shown us support. Even if we weren't going to your school or going to your game, it's been cool to see even fans of other fan bases be like, man, that's so cool what you're doing. You know, we've had people reach out and say, hey, please come to our game, come to our stadium, come to our campus, you know, come show love and support. We'll be there too, and we'll be right there with you. It's just been so cool, man. It's been so cool, and I'm so proud of what we've done to this point. You know, we stay so busy, and, you know, we you know, when you're in the midst of the football season, right, it's always like the next piece of content. Like, you don't take a lot of moments to stop and reflect and be like, damn, dude, that is cool as shit what we're doing. You know, like, that is really dope. Like, when you think about it, man, like, man, we're doing stuff that, you know, I dreamed about years ago, that I've dreamed about. And, man, I'll tell you this, guys, there's no cooler feeling than actively living out your dreams and being able to stop in that moment and be like, man, I'm really doing this. Like, we're really doing this, man. We really took a vision and a dream and we turned it into reality. Like, man, to be in the midst of that and to stop and to feel that and to acknowledge that and be like, yeah, we really are, man. Like, we're really doing this. Like, it wouldn't be possible, man, without you guys' love and support and those that rock with us and supported this vision, this dream for years and years and years on end. But certainly, you know, since the launch of SEC Unfiltered, man, I can't say thank you enough. And again, you're going to hear me echo this in a few weeks when the tour concludes and we look back and, again, the dust settles and everything. But, yeah, man, just wanted to take a moment today, man, say thank you all so much. I mean, like I said, man, it's just to actively be living out a dream and to be able to sit back and acknowledge that we're doing that on a weekly basis. Like, we're actively living out a dream. Man, what we're doing is special. Like, it's really special, and nobody can take it away from us. It doesn't matter how you feel about anything, this, that, whatever. Like, what we've built, what we're building, it's built to last, man. It's built to last. And if the last, I don't know, man, 7 years weren't proof to you, stay tuned for the next 7, because we're just getting started. Like I say many times, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is just the beginning. We're not even scratching the surface. And that's exciting to me, and I know that's exciting to you all. So can't wait to close out the tour in style, man. We got some great destinations lined up. And, man, it's just, I always say the joy is in the journey, man. Nothing could be more true than what we've gotten to experience this season. I mean, I'm having more fun than I've ever had. I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm surrounded by more great people than I ever have been. And I'm really happy to say, guys, that these days, like, there's always going to be chirping and hate. And, like, it's the nature of the beast, man. You put yourself out there on the internet, it's going to happen, right? Like, it is the nature of the beast. But, man, I'm so happy to say that, like, guys, honestly, that stuff has never meant less than what it does right now. It just hasn't, bro. Like, when we're so far above all of it. Like, if there is chirping out there or hate, we're so far removed from it and so far above it. It's never been more insignificant. The BS and the Twitter tough guys and the social media warriors. Like, it's just, man, the love overshadows it all. So I can't say thank you enough, man. It's incredible. It's incredible, dude. Anyways, 803-500-1485. You want to chime in? Phone lines are open, guys. We got about 9 minutes. We're going to go till 1:30. We're going to go till 1:30. We're live on Texas Sports Unfiltered. If you want to keep the conversation going, we're live on Texas Sports Unfiltered, 2 to 3 today, p.m. Eastern time, 1 to 2 Central. You can check us out there. Again, we go live on Texas Sports Unfiltered every single day. Love linking up with those guys, collabing the SEC Unfiltered Hour. Typically is 4 to 5 Eastern, 3 to 4 Central. Mondays, of course, though, we are 2 to 3 Eastern, 1 to 2 Central. So we got that upcoming. Previews for this weekend's games are dropping all throughout the day and tomorrow. And, I mean, you guys know the drill at this point, guys. We're into week 11 of the college football season, which is crazy to say because this season has flown by. And we are coming down the stretch. It's wild to think, man. It's wild to think. Kemper, what's going on? Kemper, my guy. Do the Gamecocks cover the spread in Nashville this weekend? The spread's only 3.5, Kemper. So, essentially, you're asking me, do I think South Carolina wins? That game is fascinating, Kemper, because here's the thing. Over the last, 15 years, it hasn't mattered how good or bad South Carolina was. It hasn't mattered how good or bad Vanderbilt was. South Carolina beats Vanderbilt. That's just like death, taxes, and the Gamecocks beating Vanderbilt. Like, it doesn't matter. But I will say, Kemper, to your point, if you're Vandy, like, this is your shot. To me, this is your shot. You got Diego Pavia. You got all the momentum in the world. Like, just, you got him at your place. And as good as South Carolina looked against A&M, I mean, they're capable of losing this game. I will say the challenge it is Diego Pavia against South Carolina's front seven, I think is what's going to be really, really interesting. But, so, I mean, listen, I haven't made an official pick yet, Kemper. I would lean South Carolina just because, again, this is a game South Carolina always wins. They always win this game. They always find a way to win this game. Now, if you tell me Diego Pavia and Vandy win, am I shocked? No. I'm not shocked at all. I mean, I think those that are doubting Diego Pavia, do so at your own risk, is what I would say. I mean, listen, Diego Pavia continues to be doubted, and he continues to win. I had no doubt they were beating Auburn. I had no doubt. They were beating Auburn. The man owns the state of Alabama. Owns the state of Alabama. Kyle Reynolds, if Lagway plays on Saturday, does Florida have a true chance to pull the upset? I got to be honest with you, Kyle. If Lagway goes, the question is, though, Kyle, like, if he goes, is he 100%? Like, I'll tell you this, though, Kyle. If you told me they had 100% DJ Lagway, I think Florida could make that a ball game. I do, yeah. Now, pull the upset. I'll say this. With 100% DJ Lagway, we've seen crazier. You know what I mean? Like, we've absolutely seen crazier than Florida beating Texas. We have. You going to tell me Vandy beating Bama wasn't crazier than Florida beating Texas would be? Because, like, I watch Florida guys, I'm like, they got some ball players. Like, Florida's got some ball players. So, I'm just saying, man. I'm not going to be picking Florida to win. Spoiler alert, but could they? I mean, welcome to the 2024 season, man. I don't think it happens, though. I don't think it happens. I do think Texas is going to get that win. I mean, here's the thing. What's the spread in that game? The spread is sitting at, let's see. The spread is at 21.5. I mean, that's a lot of points, guys. That's a lot of points. I got to be honest. Here's the thing. I need to know what DJ Lagway's status is, but that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. So, which, by the way, speaking of gambling, don't let your boy get hot. 5-1 weekend. How about that? We needed it badly. We had to get our record above 500. 5-1 weekend. 5-1 weekend. Don't let him get hot. Don't let him get hot. So, anyways, let's see. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate you all tuning in, man. It's always fun doing these. It's the call-in show is a lot of fun, man. It's always one of my favorite pieces of content throughout the week. We kind of get to go on here and just chop it up and kind of keep it loose and keep it fun and keep it light. I appreciate it, man. It's really cool. It's really cool. So, Madison Duncan, give me your top 3 Heisman candidates. Ashton Jeanty from Boise State's got to be there. Cam Ward is in my top 3. And I'll go, I think you got to go Travis Hunter, right? I think from the SEC, Madison, I think Dylan Sampson's probably got the best shot. I think he's the guy that would be knocking on the door. But you look at his numbers. They're crazy. His numbers are crazy. I'm going to pull them up real quick. His numbers are nuts. Dylan Sampson, 980 yards rushing. Guys, he has 19 touchdowns. He has 19 touchdowns. I mean, we got a month of season left, and the man's got 19 touchdowns. So, I don't think it's going to be him, though. I don't. I think it's probably going to be one of the 3 that I mentioned. But again, just from the SEC, I would say that he's got the best shot. But it's not going to happen. Champ official. What's going on, Champ? Do you think no sacks on Lenore Sellers was lack of prep by A&M, or was it the Sellers was finally given the green light to do what he's comfortable with? I think you got to give South Carolina's offensive line credit. I thought they made adjustments. I think you give Sellers a ton of credit. He escaped some sacks in that game, guys. You're like, what in the world? So I don't think you say lack of prep by A&M. I think they were prepared. I just think South Carolina just outplayed them, out-physicaled them. All the above. I mean, bottom line, you got to give South Carolina, I think, all the credit. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
JJ Martin.
JJ, what's going on? How are you? You're on the air.
Pretty good. How you doing, Chris? It's been a long time.
What's going on, man? It has. I'm doing well. How have you been?
Doing good. Hey, Chris, I got the W against the Aggies. We kicked the ass last Saturday.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game, man. That was a heck of a game. You tip your cap. Give all the credit in the world to South Carolina, man. They went out there and just physically imposed their will on A&M.
Yes, they did, Chris. Hey, Chris, me and my friends, we this. We stole a lot of fans stole a few. We did too.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, man, it was like a great atmosphere, great crowd. The blackout, the black jerseys looked awesome. Yeah, it was rushing the field. That was really cool.
Yeah, Chris, this is my first time watching the field. I never done it in history.
I'm sure you had a blast, man. It's a good time. It's a very good time to rush the field.
Yep. My first time, my friend. Hey, Chris, by the way, did you realize we defeated Texas Oklahoma the first year ever?
Say it again now. Texas and Oklahoma what?
Did you know South Carolina defeated Texas and Oklahoma the first year?
Yeah, they got Oklahoma and A&M. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think right. I was just gonna say, I think right now, I mean, you got to look at it like I don't know how you can look at this season for South Carolina and not be thrilled if you're a fan of the Gamecocks, man. I mean, it's been a great year for them. So, but a lot of ball left. You got to finish it the right way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been an incredible year for them to this point.
That's true, Chris. Hey, Chris, by the way, you got to watch out for Vanderbilt too, because Vanderbilt they be Auburn 17-7. Auburn should be embarrassed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, I picked Vandy going in that game. Doubt Diego Pavia at your own. The man doesn't lose to Hugh Freeze or in the state of Alabama. Just bottom line. So, yeah, Diego Pavia is awesome, man. He's great to watch. He's a baller. And Clark Lee, you could argue, should be coach of the year for the job he's done there. I mean, already bowl eligible. It's, yeah, they've done a heck of a job. That was a big win for them.
Oh, yeah, it was, Chris. I picked Baby to be Auburn, too, because I hear when Hugh Freeze talk trash about that quarterback.
Yeah. Yep, was a big win. It was a big win for Vandy.
Yep, it was too, Chris. But hey, Chris, that's all I say, man. Take care. Go Gamecocks.
Hey, JJ, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call. Great stuff. We'll talk again soon. Really good stuff. Great place to put a pin in it, guys. Again, the Monday Power Hour every single Monday. You can catch us here around noon to 1-ish. Started a little bit later today. We're a little bit long with some of our previews. All good. I know you guys roll with the punches. You'll jump in whenever. But you can catch us every single Monday Power Hour, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls. Of course, we do this every single week. Guys, always a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to find something real quick. There we go. Always a pleasure. Always a lot of fun, guys. Again, make sure you stay tuned for all of our content. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Guys, enjoy, by the way, the first night of college basketball season. Enjoy every week, man. The college football season flying by as we're fully into the month of November now. We close the book on week 10. We turn our attention to week 11. And what a great week we got upcoming. We'll see you on the Grove and in Oxford this weekend. Until then, guys, take care. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your Monday. We will talk to you all on the other side.